Hi, I'm Mother Mary Frances Schjonberg, and when I'm not here at Trinity Church in Asbury Park, it's usually because I'm off somewhere working at my day job, which is being a correspondent for the Episcopal News Service. This week I'm at the Church Divinity School of the Pacific, the Episcopal Seminary in Berkeley, California, where I earned my Master of Divinity degree. I'm on the board of trustees and the alum council here, and this week, as we meet, we'll be talking about the future of theological education. I spent 3 years here at the Church Divinity School of the Pacific, living in Parsons Dorm, which you can see here. But that 3-year residential model, as it's called, is really no longer the norm at Episcopal seminaries. There are many reasons why the residential model is no longer the norm at Episcopal seminaries, but they basically boil down to the cost of seminary education and the way the Holy Spirit is calling people to ordained ministry. Many of us heard the call to ordained ministry while we were in the midst of another career, and you know what that means. Our lives have become settled. We have a job, we may have children, we may have a spouse or partner, we have stuff. And the prospect of packing all of that up and moving somewhere for 3 years is rather daunting. Meanwhile, the cost of graduate education, including seminary education, has skyrocketed, and Episcopal seminarians pay for the costs of their Master of Divinity degree themselves, with very limited help these days from either their sponsoring parish or diocese or the wider church. The average debt in the class of 2008 for Episcopal seminarians is $62,000. And how much do priests get paid? Meanwhile, the Episcopal seminaries, all 11 of them to one extent or another, subsidize the cost of theological education, but with rising costs, that is draining the endowments of many seminaries, something that just can't continue. So, Episcopal seminaries are looking for cheaper ways to provide theological education, and seminarians are involved in that, and they're also looking for more flexible options for earning a Master of Divinity degree. Those options range from online classes to students studying locally, with seminaries lending their resources to dioceses who want to prepare their priests that way. There are many different options. In addition, seminaries are looking at partnerships with organizations outside the church. For instance, General Theological Seminary in New York City recently decided to partner with the real estate market in New York City. They're building a building of apartments and retail on their campus, hoping that the earnings from that venture will help them be able to continue to provide theological education. Episcopal Divinity School in Cambridge, Massachusetts, recently sold off part of its campus to a nearby secular university. The two schools will share that property, and the $33+ million that EDS earned will again help to ensure the financial stability of their institution. Bexley Hall recently closed its Rochester, New York campus and will consolidate its operations in Columbus, Ohio, where it had previously shared space with a Lutheran seminary. CDSP for 40 years has been involved in the Graduate Theological Union, a consortium of the seminaries here on what's known as Holy Hill, and we have shared more and more administrative services. Combined, we have the largest theological faculty in the world and the largest theological library in the United States. We're looking at ways that we can continue and increase and expand that cooperation in order to reduce the costs of the individual seminaries. On the far end of the extreme, Seabury Western Theological Seminary, the Episcopal school outside of Chicago, recently announced that it will no longer accept people into the Master of Divinity program, and has told their tenured faculty that they will no longer have teaching positions at the end of the 08-09 academic year. In the midst of all of this change, some constants remain. We in the Episcopal Church will always need people who can lead us in our journey as being faithful Christians and faithful Episcopalians. We'll need people, both lay and ordained, who can help us live in communities of faith, both in good times and bad times, who will help us be able to better articulate our experience of God so that we can lead other people into the church, and people who will help us expand our understanding of God. We need people who can firmly root us in the tradition and point us towards the future. And so, until we meet again, either at Trinity Church or in some other part of God's creation, always remember